whole life, up until I was 8 years old, I thought that I was white. Looking back, I'm like, how did I think that? Because all my brothers and sisters, they all had blonde hair and blue eyes. I obviously don't.
I don't consider myself to be half anything unless someone asks what I'm really composed of, because I don't see myself as relating sometimes to this and sometimes to that. I'm just me.
On college campuses across the United States, there are more mixed-race students than any time before, and they are making their voices heard.
I was in Illinois for a really long time this summer, and there's just a lot of white people in Illinois. Like, it scared me. Like, that's
They're at the forefront of a demographic shift in the United States, driven by Asian and Latino immigration and an increased number of ethnic and racial intermarriages. These young people are leading a sea change in how we think about race, ethnicity, and its place in society, and their numbers are only expected to increase. I'm Susan Solney with the New York Times, and I've spent several months getting to know mixed-race students at the University of Maryland.
Are you mixed? Yeah. What are you mixed with?
Laura Wood is a 19-year-old college student. She's vice president of the school's Multiracial and Biracial Student Association.
We talk about issues that relate to like the multiracial, multicultural community.
The group is dedicated to promoting multicultural awareness on campus.
You guys should come out. Diversity. We're gonna have lemonade too.
My responsibility has been to plan and conduct meetings. I realize that I can make a difference. Like, I can help people who don't know about their identities and who aren't talking because they're scared and they don't want to be judged. I can help them.
The group holds sessions every Wednesday night to talk about multiracial issues.
I'm pretty black. Like, it would appear to you that I'm like 100% whatever like African country I'm from. But even then, my grandmother is half German. Like, the last 3 rings of her eyes are blue. You'd never guess that from like my pigment, but.
Automatically, when you're multiracial, you're different, and we understand that there's a lot of different perspectives and points of view that have to be shared. So when you have so many people in one group that are talking about the same topic, tons of different sides of it, you really open your mind, and it creates a safe space, or else the conversation couldn't happen.
I know that what I've been through, they've been through similar things, and I mean, like, people want to acknowledge me a lot of times as black, but it's my white mother that raised me. Like, I don't even know my biological father.
When Laura was 8 years old, her mother and aunt explained to her that the man she'd been calling Dad wasn't really her father. That's when she first learned that she was mixed race and part black.
And I started crying, of course. I was 8 years old. I just figured out that who I thought I was really wasn't who I was. And then she's like, and your real father's black. And I was just so taken aback. It's like, what do you mean? I thought that my skin was darker because I swam a lot. I was always in the pool, so I was like, well, that's why I'm darker. And I figured my hair was curly just because people have curly hair. It's like, so I'm really, really not who I thought I was.
I identify myself as an African American.
18-year-old freshman Aaron Bozeman also comes from a white mother and an African American father.
You look at President Obama, who's definitely heralded as the first African American president. People still identify you based on what you look like. Okay, so I'm clearly not a white person to most people, so to identify myself as such, regardless of my behavior, that is my race, is black, because that is what I look like. If I act white, maybe that's my ethnic group perhaps, but it's certainly not my race.
I identify myself as black and white. If somebody tries to call me black, I'm like, yep, and white. It's like, I never try to deny one side of myself because it's important who I am.
1 in 19 people are born mixed race. And if you keep mixing, there's going to be an average color that pops out. Probably not in the next decade, but probably in the next century or so. Things will have changed a lot because things are changing exponentially. And because of that, race will no longer be the big hot topic that it is now, at least not the way it is now, because most people will be in some way mixed.
There will become a time when there's no such thing as acting white or acting black. You're just going to act the way you are. So sort of racial distinctions of behavior will lose their merit over time.
I feel like when different races and different cultures come together, it's like that's when we can understand each other. That's when we can really come. So if we're getting together and having babies with people that don't look like us, it's like I feel like it has the capacity to change the world and set an example for the rest of the world. All right, thank you guys for coming out.